we are ready for your next MMA bout. We're going to do a catch weight, 160 pounds. Again, a debut guy taking on a little bit more experienced guy. Dinh Bates will be in action next against Knoxville KMA's Jrammel Strong.
Yeah. We saw Jrammel very recently when we were back at the International. Performed very well, got a big win there. I'm a big fan of his. How is the debut Dinh Bates going to compete with that?
We will see here. Always fun seeing the debut guys and seeing if we can have another prospect here step up. Jrammel has had a rocky, start here. He's had ups, he's had downs. He's 1-1-1-1 in his career thus far.
That's what the amateur career is all about. It's about developing your abilities underneath the lights, and that's the thing. That's what I really respect in Valor is that, you come out here and you take a loss. That doesn't mean that's the end of your career with Valor. They're here with you for the long haul. They're here to develop talent, and they have certainly done that in the past. We've seen a lot of tremendous fighters come out of the Valor roster.
We will send it to the cage now to welcome our next two competitors to the cage.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick reminder, we have our tickets on sale for the next fight, which is going to be next weekend in Kingsport, Tennessee. Only $20 tonight, so make sure you grab your tickets. They will be more expensive the night of the fight, so make sure you grab those tonight. We're going to go ahead and jump on into the next fight, which is going to be at a catch weight at 160 pounds, brought to you by Complete Fighter Apparel. First, please welcome to the cage, Dinh Bates.
We welcome to the cage the debut, Dinh Bates out of Memphis, Tennessee, representing Rick Severa Martial Arts, only 19 years old. And it was fun talking to him. The reason he started training and getting to the sport, said he lived in a rough part of Memphis, and if you didn't know how to fight on the streets of Memphis, you were in trouble.
Well, let's get real. I was going to say that, man. I've noticed independent from Memphis, Tennessee. I've known a few independents from Memphis, Tennessee that have shook up the rosters of a lot of high-level promotions throughout the United States. If you can throw your hands, you better look out for these fighters out of the streets of Memphis because they're dangerous guys. Now, that being said, Jrammel Strong comes out of KMAA, a tremendous camp. Of course, from Knoxville, Tennessee, they produced the likes of Oven St. Preux, Justin Fisher, and a number of tremendous competitors. But you can't look beyond that right out of the gate, that explosiveness that the street fighter brings there, and that's what we're going to get here.
Again, with the debut, it's really hard to prepare for because what do you prepare for? Do you just train everything? Do you maybe look him up and see what you think, or you have to be well-rounded because you don't know?
Well, that's what's so weird. When you fight a debut street fighter, these guys are going to be very unpredictable. And that's the thing. How do you do it? My estimation, you take the guy down and you hold him there, and you do what you got to do until he cools off. Because if you go slugging with the guy, you might get hurt.
Exactly, and Jrammel Strong, very good wrestler, one of the guys from KMA with a good top game. We'll see if he used it tonight. And Jrammel's coming off a win against another mysterious debut guy in Knoxville a few weeks back. So he's got a little experience here facing these debut guys. And a lot of
the crazy kung fu style.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And you never know what to expect from a guy like this. And again, a lot of people look at fighters who fight debuts and go, he's just fighting debuts.
Yeah.
I would rather fight a guy with 3 or 4 fights so I can look him up.
Yeah.
That is something you cannot do with a debut. You never know what to expect. Got to expect everything. Everything from the basic MMA to a crazy kung fu style.
And those street fighters, they don't typically get nerves a whole lot. They've been in fights before. What do they care? What do they got to lose?
You got gloves on now. So we'll see. What
you got a referee to stop it so you don't get killed out there.
And a doctor, a cut man, ring girls, the whole thing here. He has very nice hair. We will see what he brings to the Valor cage here at Valor 29 as Dinh Bates makes his way to the cage. We send it to Jennifer Oxendine to welcome his opponent.
And his opponent fighting out of the Ogle, Elrod, and Burrill blue corner. Please welcome to the cage, Jrammel Strong.
As you mentioned, when you speak of top-level gyms here in Tennessee, you don't mention any really before. KMA, the gym represented by Oven St. Preux and a couple very good prospects here at Valor Fights. Justin Fisher, Nick Gertz, Jason King, many others. Jrammel really kind of one of the final amateurs to really be making his mark, and you always have to wonder, is he the next big thing?
Well, and you know, not only those talents that you mentioned, but everybody that comes through those doors that have cross-trained, a ton of talent. So, you know, Jrammel gets the benefit of working with all of those guys.
You see Jrammel going to be 10 years older than Bates, and everything's out pretty much the same. 1-inch height advantage for Strong, and the weight, both guys around 160. The big thing, though, 2-2 for Jrammel Strong, the debut for Bates. And Strong, very active. I mean, he fought, I think it was 3 weeks ago in Knoxville. He fought October 17th, and a very good fight. I thought he looked very good. One thing about Strong, we don't see a lot of finishes. He's not a guy throwing big shots. When he gets on top, he's comfortable working his position. And really, with only 3 minutes, when you're fighting, it's forever. But when you're a spectator and when you're working, he doesn't rush into anything. He don't pull crazy arm bars or anything like that. His position.
And it's a smart thing, because like you say, you know, when you step in there with a guy he faced last time was a kung fu guy. I've never seen a person move like that in combat sports competition ever in my life. So how do you solve that riddle? He got wiser in that fight. He learned how to win, and he did win. In this bout, it's going to be the same thing. He's fighting against an unknown prospect. You don't know if this guy's going to come throwing for the fences. You don't know if the guy's going to lay on his back and crawl. Who knows what he's going to do? And that's why you have to give props to Jrammel Strong for accepting this fight, stepping out there, and putting it all on the line just to get better.
And we are ready for your second MMA fight of the night. Strong versus Bates. We send it to the cage to Jennifer Oxendine for the introductions.
This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. First, out of the Hogs red corner, making his MMA debut. He weighed in at 160 pounds and is representing Rick Severa in Memphis, Tennessee, Dinh Bates. And his opponent, out of the OEB blue corner, he holds a record of 2 wins and 2 defeats. Weighed in at 157 pounds and is representing KMAA in Knoxville, Tennessee, Jrammel Strong. Your referee for this fight is Josh Ward.
We are ready for this fight. One thing to note, I did talk to Jrammel earlier. Eric Turner, head coach of KMAA, is not here tonight. He is feeling a little under the weather. Eric, if you're watching, we wish you well. Joey Zonar in the corner, the assistant coach at KMAA. And here we go, Strong versus Bates.
Southpaw, coming out southpaw. We didn't know anything, now we know a little something. Jrammel doing exactly what I suggested here, closing the distance and getting it to the mat.
And if you watch the Knoxville fight, this looks exactly the same. Not gonna play any games there. You've seen light on the feet was Bates early. But here he will be forced to work an open guard here for Bates. And Strong not passing yet, going to work. And as I said, though, position. There's no rush.
And the difference here is that Bates doesn't seem too hasty to even close his guard up, looking for almost like a butterfly guard here. Where, you know, in the last outing you saw Jrammel Strong locked down into a closed guard almost immediately.
His opponent then, though, you know, not a lot of ground experience, so that's interesting to see how much ground experience, because that's the thing about the fighters who maybe are not in a gym full-time or a full MMA gym. You know, do they do all striking? Do they do all jiu-jitsu? You know, what is the main focus? And
well, what's crazy is that, you know, you see guys who compete independently, they still watch the UFC. They still watch MMA fights on the internet, on YouTube and so forth. So, you know, it's not like it was back in the day, you know, where guys
nobody's
that were
really
independents
one-dimensional.
and they didn't know anything that's going on. These guys still know what's going on. It's just that they don't understand the details that you need to take it to the next level. But they're still dangerous nonetheless. You've got to keep that in mind.
There's some big shots landed there from Strong a little bit ago here working. And again, there's no rush from Strong. And you do have to wonder, you know, how long the ref gives them before he considers standing them up if there's not a lot of action. Jrammel throwing those big punches, though, to kind of maintain his position here on top. And
nice attack there
he's
at
back
the
to his
butterfly.
feet. Nice.
And that's something you don't see very much from an independent debut, is to actually utilize the butterfly guard. He actually did there.
He's swimming a guillotine
Looking
here.
for the guillotine. You know, Jrammel Strong needs to watch out for that, because that's the one move that anyone can pull if they get it tight.
A little bit of a low shot there. It's telling the ref he's good. It's always fun to see. And we'll see how he works here.
It could be Dinh Bates getting ready to go for a ride. It looks as though Jrammel Strong has his hands clenched behind the hips of Dinh Bates, and that could equal frequent flyer miles.
And I believe he's let go. The guillotine's reaching under, but there he goes for the
there it
takedown.
is.
A good job for Bates not freaking out, though. He's going to probably try to get his guard back here.
And he works for it,
Nice.
again, as an independent.
And again, that shows that there's been a little training. That's something you usually don't just get.
He's not a street fighter, a right out,
And he's
Look
still
at this,
working
look
for that
at it.
guillotine. Now,
Yeah.
it's a little bit under the chin here. Strong doing a good job putting his attention. As you said earlier in the last fight, he's fighting the wrist. He's not just
And look at this,
going off.
that butterfly going back underneath the right leg of Jrammel Strong. That's what elevated and
Got him back to his feet.
Yeah, and helped Bates to escape earlier.
And we are in our final 5 seconds here of this bout. Strong doing a good job with his top game. Strong with 2 takedowns in the round, enough to win it, you would assume here.
Yeah, undoubtedly, and looking more poised than he did in his last bout. And that's cool. That's what you want to do. You want to continue to make that progress. Jrammel Strong looking great. Dean Bates, though, props to him, man, for staying in the fight. He didn't really get into any tough spots at all. Didn't win the round, but, in his first competition, looked very composed.
He never let his opponent pass guard. I think that was a big thing. I think he was keeping the open guard, maybe trying to bait him into trying to pass and maybe set up a sweep with his butterflies, and done a very good job getting back to his feet. But once he did, Jrammel sent him for a little bit of a ride here with a nice little takedown. That's the one risk you take going for a guillotine. You usually leave yourself open.
And Jrammel looking very refined there. He got those hips. He didn't get hasty, spending a bunch of energy. He got those hands locked back there when he felt it was right. He sent Bates for a ride.
And as we mentioned, man, Jrammel, really one of the most patient guys we have. And that's something, patience is a big thing in fighting a lot of people don't think about. And you don't see really until the higher levels. There's no rush. The fight does not have to end in 30 seconds every single time. Again, and here comes Bates. And I'm guessing Bates is going to be more of a striker here. And Jrammel never really quick on his takedowns. He separates them. Sometimes he'll come quick. Sometimes he'll bait you. And Bates doing a good job here striking. And that got a little wild there and a little shoot here from Jrammel Strong. And now he's throwing strikes and
nice.
a takedown.
Again, Jrammel Strong doing what he has to do. Looking a little more aggressive there, man. Maybe he took one of those leg kicks, stung a little bit, and woke him up.
Yep, and now Jrammel, it looks like it's hard to see what he's really setting up for here, what Bates is setting up for. He's turning to his side, might try to.
Look at that right hook again. It looks like he may be able to implement the butterfly from either side, because it was the left foot that he implemented before. Now he's looking to implement both feet. That's impressive. Like I said, typically your beginner grapplers tend to go towards the closed guard. The butterfly comes later.
Jrammel Strong doing a good job adding a little bit more pressure now in the guard. Stopping it, they're right in Jrammel Strong's corner right there. Joey Zonar, Jason King in the blue shirts right outside the cage. So interesting to see if he'll pass this time. He still seems very patient, though, to sit in the open guard, and now he's starting to walk up a little bit. What's your opinion on the open guard is? Should he close it and be a little bit more effective, or because he's not got a sweep yet, really got back to his feet earlier. Now it looks like he's closing it up just a little bit.
I mean, you kind of have to go with the feel of it. It depends on how good you are and how good you are at reacting. For me personally, and when I work with a guy who's very explosive and quick, you may want to close him up there, because that way you don't have to actually keep pace with how quickly he's moving. You just lock him down. When you feel like you've got good control, then you go ahead and sink those hooks in there. One thing you don't want to do is get one hook sunk in and one hook out, because then it makes it very easy for an experienced grappler to pass your guard.
It looks like here Bates moving a lot. He's almost doing the passing for Jrammel. Jrammel's starting to step over. Might go side control here. It looks like he's just pinning him against the corner here of the cage. There's full mount.
Here we go.
So this is big.
Now, this is a thing we've seen from Jrammel Strong, where he's typically gotten to this position, but had a little trouble pulling the trigger to finish the bout. Is he going to open up here and put the finishing touches on this fight?
Be really good for Strong to show a little bit more aggressiveness here and pick up a good finish. But Bates doing a good job getting back to half guard. Very good job. And he is now back in half guard. Still, it's an open half guard, though, which is going to allow Strong to pretty much go right back in the mount.
Here we go. Nice shots. And that's the thing, man. I mentioned this in the last fight. If he had gotten into a good position, just opened up a little bit, in his last fight, he possibly could have finished. So we'll see if he takes my advice here.
And, I mean, you're saying you can be too patient.
Yeah.
So that is something Strong showing.
Now, you can be too patient, but it's kind of hard to push forward if you feel it's really risky and you're winning by the margins that Jrammel Strong is winning. It's hard for us sitting by cage side.
Yeah. We are now at the end of the second round. Strong again, though, very impressive from top Good sportsmanship, guys, helping each other up. Strong, great top game again. Another nice little takedown. End up taking full mount. Bates done a good job getting out of it, though. I think Bates obviously down on the scorecard, but it's shown a lot from debut.
Yeah, he's a tremendous competitor, a tough guy, and he's not out there gassing. It's his first fight. Typically speaking, going to the third round, you're going to see a debut out there, coughing up a lung. You're not seeing that from him. I'm impressed by that. Jrammel Strong, I'm impressed with as well. I would like to see him pick up that work rate a little bit more once he gets to a dominant spot. Try to get a finish, because as he continues into his career and takes that next step up, he's going to need that.
And I think here Bates kind of having the open guard. Maybe the open guard's kind of, maybe kind of scaring Strong in a sense. Why is he not closing his guard? Maybe I shouldn't pass, and that's causing him to be a little more tentative here. As the last fight, that guy was kind of clinging on for dear life, which in that sense kind of made Strong not be able to do anything. So a little bit of two different sides of the spectrum here in his last two fights.
Well, yeah, and there's so much that can happen. You make one mistake, the guy scrambled, he's back up on the feet, and you got to do it all over again. You got to get him back down. So, it's, again, easy for us to criticize, but when fight or flight kicks in, it's your training that takes over.
And again, right then in that whole second round, he was pretty much in his own corner. So third round, here we go, Bates and Strong, and Bates comes out firing. Strong in for the takedown here, right on the hips.
Already has the hands clasped underneath the hips of Dean Bates.
He is
and Dean Bates with a good defense there, at least in the early goings. Got a good post there, working back to his feet, but tremendous finish by Jrammel Strong.
Good job by Strong going away from the big takedown to go into the slow one just to make sure things go. We are back in the open guard. Looks like Strong trying to pass it one, though.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jrammel Strong at least step over one of those legs, get into that half guard position.
Trying to get back to mount.
Yeah, and open up a little bit, man. It's amateur competition, but he can drop those elbows to the body, land some shots to the face, punches to the face. But if you're at least past one of those legs, it's going to open up a lot of more options, and that's what I'd like to see from Strong here.
The unique thing is, it's Bates almost is giving him half guard here with the one, setting in that one butterfly. You're pretty much giving away your half guard here, and he's working against the cage. Again, we are right in Jrammel Strong's corner, and that's a big thing for people who don't know. Being right in your corner, those guys are just whispering things, so they're right there. There's no yelling.
Especially Joey. Joey talks constantly, and everything he says is, he's very calm, and everything he says, means something. And, this is a guy that's been in the corner of Ovince St. Preux in big fights, in the UFC.
And
not to mention Jason King, who is also a tremendous competitor.
And it looks like trying to get wrist control here from the bottom of his Bates. It always is possible to set up a triangle or an armbar. Now he might be setting up a Kimura. Good job. And Strong, you see, pinning it down here. And again, Strong now kind of going to the defensive, not really throwing a lot of strikes. But Bates knows, he can't be stuck in this position for another minute, 10 seconds.
Here we go. Is that a triangle setup? Look at this. The angle is not right, but at least a good attempt by Dean Bates.
Bates knows that he can't just sit there.
Yeah, and it shows that he has some ability there, some grappling ability. Maybe he's trained with some tough camps and just has chosen to go at it on his own.
He did tell us he's with a camp called Rixavera. Not too much known about it. Obviously, Memphis is a new place we're venturing in on, but he's got a teammate tonight. We'll learn a little bit more about them probably when he fights. And they're going back to their feet here.
Dean Bates getting it up there. Dean needs to go ahead and go with the whizzer there.
Bates ended up on top there.
Yeah, there we go. Transition to the whizzer. That stops Jrammel Strong from getting to his back. Is he going to have enough time to pull anything off, though? Just less than 20 seconds left in this bout.
See if Strong maybe tries to get one more takedown to kind of put the exclamation mark on things. 10 seconds left here in the third and final round. And there it is.
And finishes with a beautiful takedown, almost suplex-esque.
And Strong using his wrestling to really control the fight. And again, much like last time we seen Jrammel Strong,
but I think better.
Controlled.
But I think better. I think he was more controlled. I think the opponent was a little bit more refined, a little bit better opponent, and I was happy with what I saw from Jrammel in this bout.
And as we mentioned, two different sides of the spectrum. This guy was keeping his guard open. It almost looked like he was always thinking about a sweep or thinking about maybe he was trying to set up that triangle the whole time. So a careful fight. You dare to say maybe a little bit of a safe fight. But again, this is probably going to be the fight that gets Strong over 500, which is a big thing here to get a bigger fight and possibly face some better competition in the future for Jrammel Strong.
Absolutely. Well, you know, he goes over into the winning record, you know, and that's a great feeling, I'm sure.
We will tally the scores here at Valor Fights. Jrammel Strong, we both believe, should come away with a win here tonight at Valor 29. And we will get prepared to send it to the cage and Jennifer Oxendine, the official decision here between Jrammel Strong and Dinh Bates.
After 3 rounds, we go to your judges for decision. All 3 judges score this fight 30-27 for your winner. Unanimous decision out of the OEB blue corner, Jrammel Strong.
Jrammel Strong, a very good win here tonight. He will move to 3-2. And we will see what is next for Jrammel Strong.
And props, Dinh Bates. Hey, props to him for coming out here, putting on a great performance and a great fight.
And again, we mentioned that there has been many guys who look forward to fighting debuts. It takes a lot for a debut to fight a guy who's already had 4 amateur fights. Congratulations to Jrammel Strong, another big win here tonight at Valor 29.